Hello YouTube, Speeding5 here, and welcome back to the Reverse Grid series. Apologies, massive apologies for taking such a long time to get this out. Been busy with exams, and I reset the PC to factory default without backing up the previous Spanish Grand Prix that I had recorded. So, actually to sum it up, because I recorded it around the same time as the real life Spanish Grand Prix for this 2016 season, and it was actually a Red Bull 1-2 in the Reverse Grid series, which would have put, I think, Coulthard, who is sat on pole position with the Reverse Grid format after not setting a time in Q1. I'm not sure why, but with this ended up discarded one. Where's it hiding? It's hiding somewhere. Oh, there it is. It would have put Coulthard at the top by 7 points, which is the biggest gap we'd have seen throughout the entire season, because it's only been like 1 or 2 points throughout most of the season. I think currently it is actually level on points, so we've got Coulthard on pole position after not setting a time. There's been an adjustment to the grid penalties rules, which means instead of moving forward on the grid, I'm setting up the grid as it was before the penalties, and then adding in the actual 10-place grid penalty save for Villeneuve at this current event. So he's now splitting the two Ferraris. They would have been 18th and 19th and 20th on the grid, not 18th and 20th. So let's get into it. Speaking of Red Bull having the 1-2 and the discarded one, they're first and 8th on the start of the grid. There's the Toros mechanics, but we are off in Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix. Montagni's had an impressive debut. Looks to have got off to a good start. Don't think he'll be challenging Coulthard into turn 1, but he's certainly going to be not worrying too much for what's behind them. You can tell I'm a little bit rusty, but Coulthard leaves out the first turn predictably, and he's going to be trying to build that gap. And Klein and Rosberg are no doubt wanting to be going to slot themselves through the field as quickly as they can to not let Coulthard just run away with it too much. And Montoya is in there as well, as Montoya looks to get himself into the points. He's got past Speed. Rosberg and Speed both run right. Oh, there's all sorts going on. Klein is out, and they're all stuck down here. There's Klein, and that's one of the BMW Saubers away. That's Villeneuve. Let's go take a look at a replay. So we're approaching it now. We're watching on board with Webber, because he was a little bit behind it all, so he can see what's going down. So Rosberg's gone wide, Speed's gone wide, and as Speed comes back on, it just collects Klein's out, and then it just all piles up together as everyone's stuck. But brilliant work from Heidfeld to get through it all. He spun out himself actually, so he went wide as well and then spun out, but they're all stuck. And there we go, this pack is now released, all fairly high up in pace-wise, so I reckon they'll stick together and charge on the back of the pack maybe. There's Villeneuve, there's Button, Trulli is 12th, Fisichella's already up to 11th, the two Ferraris are up to 9th and 10th already. There's Webber, there's Liuzzi, Montoya's having a look at the Midlands, and that's going to be an easy move to get past Montero.
First is Coulthard, Ide is second, third is Takuma Sato, fourth is Christian Albers, Montoya fifth.
So Albers forcing out Montoya wide.
Montero is sixth, in seventh place is Liuzzi.
And having a look at the inside into turn 4, that's not going to work. Can he get past here? Is he going to go the outside or the inside? He goes for the inside. Will Albers run wide? No, he doesn't, and Montoya doesn't get through either, as Massa moves up into the points positions now. So we're already back out of the points. There's Michael Schumacher, the 7-time world champion, in 10th place, and he's going to fancy his chances of getting past the Williams. Albers defending from Montoya. And Schumacher up the inside of Mark Webber. Can he get it done? They're going to be side by side through the next corner. Schumacher's on the outside, and Webber defends the place. Brilliant driving from Mark Webber. And Massa's still not past Montero, as Liuzzi is through up into 6th place, and he's going to fancy his chances at getting onto the back of Albers. As Montero holding Massa behind him for as long as he can, but now that we're on the main straight, I have a feeling Albers, Montero even, is going to lose out, but he doesn't, surprisingly. And neither does Webber, but Michael Schumacher does, as Fisichella gets up into 10th place. And he's having a look at Webber now. He's up the inside, and I think he's got it done. Yes, he has. Schumacher's going to try and capitalise on it and try and get past as well, as Fisichella very aggressive on the outside of Montero, but he doesn't complete the move, and Schumacher actually runs wide. Has made contact with Button, but the two are still going. There's Villeneuve, Raikkonen, Heitfeld, Barrichello, Alonso, Ralf Schumacher, and then Coulthard leading the race with a massive gap. But Montagny holding that 2nd place. He's built a gap up to Sato, but Montoya's having a look past the Super Aguri. Doesn't quite able to get past. But Liuzzi is now on the back of Albers, having a look which way he can, trying to get past as quickly as possible. He doesn't want to be caught by Felipe Massa. And that's going to be a top 5 over if Massa catches up to the back of him, as that's Montoya wide.
He's just on a lap of 1:16.
When Pablo Montoya runs wide, we're going to have to take a look at a replay to see what happened. Okay, so here we are approaching the final couple of corners now. And Montoya obviously is going to be very close. He's going to have the inside into the final corner. As he gets very close to Sato, and that flings him out wide onto the gravel. And I think he still stays in the points. He might not, because everyone gets past him there. So we're going to check his position now. And Montoya is indeed out of the points. He's down to 11th, but he's got a quick car, so he's going to look to get back into the points as quickly as he can. But he doesn't want Michael Schumacher to get back past him.
4th is Christian Albers. Felipe Massa is 5th. He's moved up.
Liuzzi is down to 7th.
6th.
And Massa's going to look to take 4th place now as he gets past Christian Albers. And just double checked the championship table, and this is most likely going to put Fisichella into the lead of the championship. It depends where Massa and Fisichella finish relative to each other. But Barrichello not in contention of points really, so that is probably going to put Fisichella into the lead of the championship. He was dubbed as a future world champion in the late 90s, so this could be his season. You never know, but Massa has gotten past Albers before him and is streaking away, and this would put them equal on points. There is Sato and Montagny.
Looks like Coulthard is really piling the pressure on here. He's just on a lap of 1:16.67. He's building up quite a lead over Ide now. The gap is out to 8.6 seconds.
It's 8.6 seconds already between Coulthard and Montagny, but Massa is up into the podium spot, and he's going to fancy his chances of getting past Montagny here. He goes up the inside into turn 4. They're going to be side by side on the exit, but Massa gets the place. So the impressive Montagny is down to 3rd place, but he's still got a podium, and he's keeping a nice gap to his more experienced teammate Takuma Sato. But now Massa is going to be on a charge. Can he catch up to Coulthard? I have a feeling he could do it. There's 9.5 laps left in this race, so he's certainly got time to do it, but whether he has enough pace or Coulthard has enough pace, we'll find out soon. Liuzzi is up into 6th. Fisichella is nowhere to be seen. There he is there. We'll find out why he's down there now. Ah, interesting. It's basically just a carbon copy of Montoya's incident. Montoya goes through, as to the others, dropping Fisichella down to 11th or 12th. And that's Button ahead of him.
That was 1:15.
13th is
finding it difficult to match that
Fisichella's
pace. He's
position.
been posting laps around the mid-116s.
Was that 3 seconds quicker as the two Super Aguri's are side by side, and Sato has taken the podium spot away from Frank Montagni, and Liuzzi is up into a top 5. So Liuzzi is going to be looking to close down these two Super Aguri's along with Jarno Trulli, and I have a feeling Liuzzi has a shot at defending from Trulli. So the two Italians 5th and 6th, but I've got a feeling if Liuzzi's got a shot at defending against anyone, it's going to be Trulli. It's not overly faster. I mean, it is a fair bit faster, but he's got himself a little bit of a gap as he charges onto the back of Montagni. Montagni dropping off. Does he have an issue? Because he's lost a lot of time in this one lap alone. So maybe he has some sort of issue, maybe not getting enough power into the car. It is only the first season for these V8s, so reliability is still an issue.
Closed the gap and made ground on Coulthard. The gap has extended to 1.3 seconds.
And Liuzzi gets passed up into 4th place. Montagni definitely struggling. Montagni has a look trying to get back past, but Trulli is at the inside. And no, Trulli's got an issue.
It's Trulli! His left rear seems to have taken some damage. A bit of a scrape there, but at least he won't need to retire. Ide got himself involved in that.
So Trulli with a puncture. That's Barrichello.
Doesn't seem to have done him too much harm.
So there's Coulthard. There is Felipe Massa. In shot now, and Massa's definitely closing in. There's Sato, so Montagni 5th place. Collision with Trulli and Liuzzi meant that Trulli now has a puncture, so he's going to be limping back to the pits. But I think Montagni has a problem because he was keeping around a 2nd gap back to Sato, and then all of a sudden he's just lost a huge amount of ground.
Putting the pressure on here. That last lap time was a 1:14.45. He closed the gap and made ground on Coulthard. The gap has closed to under 23 seconds.
To under 23 seconds.
The top 8 are as follows. First is Coulthard.
Webber's
Massa
passed.
is 2nd. 3rd is Takuma Sato. Liuzzi's 4th. He's up from 5th. Ide
Brilliant
5th.
driving from Montagni to get back up the inside of Webber, but he isn't able to do it. Webber is through.
Of 2 places. Montoya is 7th. And Schumacher is 8th.
So Schumacher up into the points. There's Fisichella 9th place. He's going to be trying to get back into the points. See if he can get some damage limitation. Because of course Massa at 2nd place is going to be getting into the lead of the championship if it stays like this. But Montagni drops down into 7th place. Montagni definitely has an issue. I'm not sure what it is, but he's just not getting enough power into that car. Because he was keeping a 2nd gap back to Sato, and now he has just dropped so far down. And there's Trulli limping back to the pits. And Montoya, is that Raikkonen? It is Raikkonen. He was going to try to take advantage, try to get past Fisichella. It didn't work.
Was 1:15.43. He closed the gap and made ground on Coulthard. The gap is now less than 11 seconds.
Less than 11 seconds the gap. So it's certainly coming down. Let's see if we can see him as he goes through. Nope. No, we don't. Not yet anyway. But there's Sato. Liuzzi all over the back of Sato, and he's not finding it as easy as he did against Montagni, so I'm sure Montagni has an issue of some kind. Maybe just has a little power issue or something. Not sure what it could be. But down to 8th now for Montagni, and Fisichella is going to be up the inside to get that final points position away from him. Yes, he does. Fisichella through into the points, and Raikkonen is going to find it pretty easy as well as he has a look on the exit of turn 5. Isn't able to get it past. There's the 2 Midlands and Barrichello 13th. So Raikkonen having a look up the inside into the fast right-hander. It's quite a blind corner, so he wasn't going to get past there, but he's certainly going to be through into the hairpin, is he? no. Interesting. But there is David Coulthard, and there's Felipe Massa. So 5 laps left of this Grand Prix, and Massa is certainly closing in.
Massa is second. Third is Takuma Sato.
And Liuzzi through. Liuzzi is through.
That's a gain of 1 place.
Passed before the braking zone.
Michael Schumacher is seventh.
Sato nearly ran wide,
from 8th,
but he keeps it on the track. And there's Montoya in 5th. Michael Schumacher's up to 6th. There's Webber 7th. Fisichella 8th. And Raikkonen is through past Montagny. Montagny has dropped so far back. He was doing very well at first, but he's just tanked now. Probably has an issue of some kind, as Montoya and Sato are going side by side through turn 5. Montoya runs wide onto the grass. Doesn't go as far wide as Rosberg and Speed at lap 1. But it does slow him down. He isn't passed yet, as Schumacher continues to close in. He's having a look up the inside into the hairpin, the side-by-side on the entry.
Montoya is going
And with the
well,
superior
McLaren,
so Montoya is through.
1:15.33. That's quicker than Ide. He's been posting lap times in the high 1:17s, low 1:18s. Let's take a quick look at the current leaders. First
Sato now under pressure from Michael Schumacher. This is going to be an easy one.
Liuzzi third, Montoya fourth. In 5th is Sato. He's slipped from 3rd. Michael Schumacher 6th. He's up from 7th. Webber 7th. And Fisichella 8th.
Montoya's doing well to hold this podium spot, to be fair. He's a fair bit behind, but he was stuck in all the traffic. But Liuzzi's been driving so fantastically this season so far. And he's now sat in a podium position to just back that up.
That's an improvement for Raikkonen. It's his fastest lap of the Grand Prix. His last lap was 1:15.23. That's a better time than Webber. He's been posting lap times in the high 1:17s, low 1:18s.
But yeah, so Webber's now down to 8th, as Fisichella's going to look to get past Sato as quickly as he can. He goes up the inside into the hairpin, and surely this is going to be an easy move for Fisichella. He's going to be on the outside for the next corner, but that is so easy for the much, much superior Renault. As Liuzzi still sat in 3rd place as we go on to the final 3 laps, but Montoya is very close. He's going to be up the inside, and he's through.
He's moved up from 6th. Fisichella 6th. That's a gain of 2 places. 7th is Sato, and Webber is in 8th place.
Liuzzi will be no doubt hoping for top 5.
Laps, the gap in front of Massa is getting smaller. The heat is still on in this Grand Prix. Coulthard has now been put under some pressure. The gap is now 1/10 of a second.
And it's pretty close between Massa and Coulthard. Massa's going to go on the inside into the hairpin. Coulthard is able to hold it around the outside to defend the place. But is Massa going to lose the position? Is gaining the position even on the main straight? That would be in theory, what would happen. And he's got a bit of a gap, so he's going to get a good run through the final corner. He's got the slipstream of David Coulthard, and he's very close now, and Massa could be on for a race win.
Increased his lead through the previous sector. He's extended the gap by another 1/10 of a second.
And he's through. Massa is through.
That's a superb overtaking move from Massa. He's been working hard out there, and it's paid off. Poor Coulthard just couldn't take the pressure.
Not much David Coulthard could do in his Red Bull racing car. But Massa is through, and he could be on for a race win in these final couple of laps. As Coulthard kicks up a bit of smoke there. But Liuzzi down to 5th place now, and Fisichella is looming behind him. Liuzzi, the only backmarker car within the points at the moment. Because even the Williams isn't too bad of a car, but Barrichello closing in on Mark Webber. A bit of damage limitation from the Brazilian, who was leading the championship.
Liuzzi is closing in on his nearest opponent, but doesn't have many laps left to catch him. He really needs to focus now.
Apparently Liuzzi is closing in on Schumacher.
The gap now is 0.7 seconds.
But person who is closing in on Liuzzi is Fisichella.
His last lap. Coulthard is running in second. Michael Schumacher piles on the pressure through sector 2. That's a whole second he's managed to extend the gap by this time. It's finally starting to look better for Liuzzi. The pressure is now on him to come up with the goods in the final lap.
Can he defend
a few people yet.
On this last straight from Giancarlo Fisichella? I don't think he can. The Renault has such superior straight line speed. Fisichella is through. Liuzzi's out the top 5. But 6th place is still a very strong result for Antonio Liuzzi, especially in this Toro Rosso. Of course, he could get lucky. Something could happen ahead of him. But I think Massa is heading on to another race win. Of course, dominated Malaysia.
Massa races past the checkered flag for
but
the
Massa
10 points and top
is victorious in Spain.
Coulthard should finish in second.
Coulthard gets a brilliant 2nd place for him. And when Pablo Montoya, 3rd place, a podium position for McLaren. And Michael Schumacher to complete a strong performance by Ferrari, 4th place for him. They started so far down, capitalised on the incident at the exit of turn 5. 4th place for him. Fisichella comes home in 5th. Liuzzi 6th. Raikkonen completes a strong result for McLaren in 7th. And Barrichello picks up the final point with some good damage limitation there. Alonso in his home race could only nab 10th place. There's Montagny, Albers, Montero. Trulli is still yet to finish, and he's going to be the last finisher of the Grand Prix. So he comes around the final corner, down the main straight he comes to finish 14th.
An amazing day at an amazing location with an amazing crowd. This has to be one of the best attended races in the whole F1 calendar. The Spanish fans love Fernando Alonso.
Fantastic race from Felipe Massa.
It's been a pleasure to be here this weekend, and I have to say a big thank you for all that our passionate Spanish hosts have had to offer. I'll leave you with the thought that in 2 weeks' time, we arrive at the most glamorous location of them all, Monaco. I can't
wait. So off to Monaco we go for the next episode.
We'll see you soon.
But we are going to move on to the championship standings right about now. Taking a look at the drivers' standings, and Felipe Massa moves to the top of the championship table. David Coulthard's 2nd, and Fisichella drops down into 3rd place. 4 points separating the 3 of them, so it's all tight at the top of the championship. And Rubens Barrichello, with that one sole point, drops down to 4th place. I believe he's been leading since the start of the season, so a bit unfortunate for him as he was caught up in that incident at turn 5. Ralf Schumacher drops down to 5th, and Villeneuve doesn't claim any points, so he drops down to 6th. Raikkonen moves up into 7th place with a strong performance from McLaren here in Spain, and Nico Rosberg drops down into 8th place. Michael Schumacher, the 7-time world champion, moves up into the top 10, and Jenson Button drops down to 10th place. Yuji Ide obviously starting to fall down a bit more as he isn't racing in F1 anymore, having had his super license taken away from him. Liuzzi with a 6th place here today moves up to 12th, so Toro Rosso needs some points on the board, and they're going to be really happy with that performance from Liuzzi today. Montoya claims some more points. Obviously, I believe he got a podium, so that moves him off 2 points and on to 8, up into 16th. And Alonso's still down in last place, 23rd out of 23, and still only claiming a single point in the championship so far. Moving on to the constructors, and Ferrari moved to the top of the table with an 8-point gap back to Honda, who were the current constructors championship leaders going into the round. Red Bull move up to 3rd, McLaren 4th, and Renault in 5th, and Superguru drop down from the top 3 into 6th place. So they've had a strong start, but they appear to be starting to fall back a little bit now. Toyota have stayed where they are, and the only other major thing is Toro Rosso closing in on the Midlands F1 team. Obviously, they're going to be looking to catch up to 10th place. They're not going to be wanting to sit where they are currently. So the next round is Monaco, and that may be an interesting one, but it is most definitely going to favour the smaller teams.